All right. Now, let's talk about trying to turn the snake. It's probably one of the hardest things to figure out. And my idea for that is that you're really only turning the head of the snake and the body will follow it. But the way that's going to work is the head is essentially going to stamp its direction on the board, and then the rest of the body will pick up that information from the board. Okay? So let's try to make this happen. So the first thing I think I want to be able to do is just make the head of the snake turn, right? So I'm going to go to the snake class here, and let's make file declare the head of the snake. In here, I will set the head of the snake to be body 0. It's the first thing. Okay, so that's going to be that. And let's say turn. Change direction. How do I do this? So I want to. And I'm going to say if GDB 5 dots keys pressed, right? Index key events PK. All right, boom. Okay, so that's like the up arrow, right? Whatever. Then I want head dot. Head is a tile. I want to set the direction. Set the direction to up is 1, I believe, right? So I'm going to set the direction to 1. Now, pause. I got to import a couple things. Well, actually, they're mad at me because the set direction doesn't exist yet, right? So let's come back to tile. And tile does have a field for direction, right? So let's go and write a setter method for that. All right, so now we can take an integer argument and set the direction to whatever that is. All right, boom. Tiles can do that. The head of the snake is a tile, so it can set it to that. Boom. What do you think? Like it or love it? So I'm going to go here. We go boom, boom, boom. I'm going to say if it's right, then that should be 2. If I'm going to say down, that should be 3. And I'm going to say if left, it should be 0. Right. So only changing the direction of the head at this point. So let's see what happens. Now, it's a move called turn, and it's a snake move. It's a snake method. So I got to come into runner and say, hey, I want to allow the snake to turn. All right, boom. Aha. Very exciting, very fun. So the head of the snake is moving all over the place. Great, great, great. The body just went right off. Okay. So, how do I get the rest of the body to pick up that the head has changed direction? Well, for me, the way I think of it is when I change direction of the head, I want it to stamp that information on the grid, and then I want the rest of the body to like pick up that information as it lands on it, right? So that means that the snake kind of needs to know where it is on the board or on the grid, so to speak. And to me, it kind of makes sense then that the tile might want to keep track of the row column location of where it is on the board. So we could do this somewhere else, but I'm going to go ahead and say into row, into column here, and we will say this dot row, this row, and this dot column equals column. All right. So now I'm going to get some error messages because when I'm creating my tiles in the board class, I have not given these row column arguments, right? However, as I look at this, I have row column variables right here as I'm creating the tile, and that is where those tiles are on the board in terms of row column, right? So we'll just throw those arguments in there, and now the board is printed with a row column kind of piece of information, or not the board, but the tiles are all printed with that board column location. Okay. We'll probably want to write a bunch of getter setter methods for tile, private fields. So how about we write one for get direction? Let's write one for row. Oh, these are actually returning things, not void. All right. So I might need some more getter setter methods, but I want to be able to set all these things later. Okay, so let's come back here. Let's think about this move return method again, right? So after I set the, or after the head changes its direction, I wanted to plant that information on the tile that is on currently on, right? So I'm going to say I'm going to create row column. These are local variables, right, for the method. And after all this, I'm going to say row is equal to head.getRow. Column is equal to head.getColumn, right? And now little problem here because I want to access the grid from board, but I don't have like that piece of information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that as a parameter. I'm going to say board B is going to be a parameter, and I'm going to say B dot. It's really the grid of the board. So I'm going to say get grid. Method doesn't exist yet. Row column dot. Set direction with direction. Now, what's direction? Haha. Haven't defined that yet. But let's say it is here. Local variable, local variable. And I'm going to say direction equals head dot get direction. Okay. Let's see about it. I got to write a couple more methods here, right? But let's think about this. So what's happening is when I push the key, the head's direction is going to change, right? And now I'm getting the row column location of the head. I'm getting the direction of the head. And then I'm going to say for the board, let's get the grid. And in that row column location, let's set the direction of that tile to be the direction that the head now has. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here. But I am missing a couple deals here. Oh, I'm missing this. And here I'm missing a get grid method for board. So let's go to the board class and write a get grid method, right? What is grid, by the way? What is grid? It's a two-dimensional tile array. So that's actually what we are returning here, right? Yeah, did you do the Mingo thing? All right. What do you think? What do you think? Like or love it? Like or love it? To really see if this works, you kind of have to maybe print out some of the locations and stuff. But I'm gonna just test and see if we can get this to work on its own. So, I feel like I have now stamped the grid with the direction of the head. What I need now is the body to pick up that direction. So I'm going to come back here and say for snake, for tile by t dot move, tile dot move. So what about this? What about this? Yeah.
Because I'm going to another club.
Oh, I see. All right. What do we got? So let's say before it moves. Ooh, we have to know where it is. Okay, fine. So I'm going to take. Okay, so now as I'm thinking of this, right, I need to get the information from the board, right? Which the head is now stamped on there. So again, I'm going to take a board parameter here, right? And let's say direction again. And let's say that direction is going to be equal to b dot get grid row. Right. Okay. So this could be a little confusing, and I know I got an error here, but remember that the grid is made up of tiles, right? So when I say b.get grid row column, I'm referencing a tile on the board, so I can get the direction from that tile, right? But this row column, like what row column am I talking about? I'm talking about the row column of the piece of the body of the snake. So it's t.get row here, right? And column is t.get column. Okay, so that's the row column, right? And then I want to set the direction of the body to be the direction I got from the board. And then I'm going to ask the tile to move. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking this. I'm loving it. I think I see a little problem here. One issue is I'm going to come back here to Snake Rider, and because I said turn takes this board argument, I'm going to go board here. So, and what else? Did I put that in move? Yeah, I put it in both turn and move. Okay. All right. I see a problem. But let's see what happens. Oh, errors. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So the question is, what row and column am I in when I'm first creating these snakes here? And because X is 600 and Y is 400, I'm going to say the row is 20 and the column is 30. Do I need anything else? All right. Pause. I'm going to say row equals column equals 30. I'm going to say row column. And after I make each one, I'm going to go column plus 1. Okay? Because it's going to go one behind, right? So that's moving to the right on column. I'm liking this. Not loving it. I think I see an error here. So here I'm moving. I turn, and I don't follow. Okay? And I think one of the reasons I'm not following is because the row column attributes of the snake aren't changing, right? Like they're constant. I haven't changed them as we move. So let's come back into the tile and think about how row column should change when we move. So if the direction is 0, right, and I'm going to the left, right, what's happening to the columns, right? So if I start at column 20, I'm going to be in column 19, be in column 18, etc., etc. So I'm going to say columns decrease going to the left, going to the right, or no, going up. I'm going to say that the rows decrease. Going to the right, I'm going to say that columns increase. Right? going to down. I'm going to say that the rows increase. So, yeah, this could have taken some debugging to kind of figure out, but yeah, I print that information when the tiles get created. I give them a row column value, right? But as it's moving, I wasn't changing the row column value for each tile, right? But now, as it moves, I am changing the row column value for each tile. Very exciting, very hopeful. Let's see what happens. Aha. Aha. Looks pretty good, pretty good.